The topic for this video is problem solving. There are some topics that we're going to discuss in this video, and that are firstly introduction to problem solving. The next are the prerequisites of problem solving. The next is the approaches for problem solving, and the final we'll study steps for the problem solving. So we just start with a briefing of what is a problem. Anything can be a problem. For example, money problem, time problem, etc., etc., and so on and so on. So basically, how to try or solve a problem in a life is very important, because problems are the fact of the life, as it's all written in the PDF also. For example, this is an example given of a problem. Manufacturing managers are usually evaluated with line operation rate, which shows a percentage of operating hours. Therefore, manufacturing managers sometimes operate without orders from their sales division. This operation may produce more demand and make excessive inventories. The excessive inventories may be a problem for general manager, but for the manufacturing manager, the excessive inventories may not be a problem. Basically, in this example, they are saying that the sales division and the marketing managers are the very different things. You can get the order, but for completing the orders, it need to be done before time, and also the inventory should be filled up properly. For example, in hospitals, if we have enough inventory, we're good to go. But if we are not having enough inventory, then there is a problem. So problems are the fact of life. So our next topic is prerequisites of problem solving. Meaningful learning is the very first thing we needed as a prerequisite of solving any problem. Prerequisites are basically the things you need to do something. For example, if you're making something in food, you need ingredients. So prerequisites are the synonym of that word, the pre-requirements, we can say. Meaningful learning is basically the concept that the learned knowledge is fully understood by the individual. Basically, if we are learning something, meaningful learning says that it should be learned properly. There are many definitions for meaningful learning. Learning that changes one's brain structure, learning that makes a difference between knowledge base in our mind. Basically, we all have a knowledge base. The things learning is a different thing, but the knowledge base is a different thing. Also, next we have is learning that makes a difference between how we view the world, learning that supports and enables growth of more knowledge, learning that changes a person's life, and learning that makes a difference in our skill sets in the things we can actually do. Basically, meaningful learning is getting extra more out of the knowledge you are getting from the other person. For example, if I'm getting to know about the any topic, for example problem solving itself, then also I can use my intelligence over the topic, and will see what more I can do with this learning, and it will become a meaningful learning. Next are the approaches for the problem solving. Means how to solve a problem. We have very different kinds of approaches, techniques, we can say. Basically, for example, if we are getting through a problem, we may have many options to think or to technique it over. In this we have analytical team approach for the first. In this, basically it's a term used in doctors or something. So the physics doctors use an analytical team approach to obtain the necessary information. Basically, you have gone through some problem, for example any virus. Okay, so for making a vaccine, you will use team approach, analytical team approach. You will analyze the problem and explain it to the team members, and they will collectively try to make an approach for solving it. Next is individual approach. In this, we use various tools, softwares to get vital information working on its own and arrive at an answer. For example, a problem which will be solved by our own selves is known as individual approach. The next approach is people's approach. Means the consultants basically the psychiatrist. For example, if I'm going through a depression or something, I'll consult a psychiatrist because it will help finding my answers to my problems. That will also makes helps in very good decision making rules. If we'll see here, there is usually an expert that knows the solution to the problems but is overlooked or not listened by those in the decision making rules. The thing they are saying here is that psychiatrists are the defined people which can understand the things which are not understood by the normal people. So here we'll use people's approach in case of depression, stress, or something else. The very next is critical approach. Critical approach is used where the important situations needs to be prefer or handled very critically. So here, someone who has a good critical thinking skills will look at both sides of an argument. For example, the judges here will become a critical approach who will see both the sides of a problem. For example, if I'm going through some depression or something, so if I do something after it and if I do something before it, it will see both the sides of it. Next is a creative approach. This approach means to solve the problem in new and creative ways. Sometimes your knowledge and thinking are not enough to solve problem. Basically, trying something new and approaching something new. For example, if you're making, in these case, the vaccines, we can say, we'll try something new approach. We'll try to mix two drugs and to make another vaccine for it. So it would become a creative approach. For it all should be focused upon getting the result, or in this case we can say getting the problem solved. So these are some kinds of approaches we'll use to solve our problem. Next, in the last topic we have is steps for problem solving. In this we have various steps. First is identify the problem. As it names suggests, you should know what the problem is very firstly. Next is explore the problem, evaluate it, explore it, and get more of knowledge from it. Next is set goals, what you need to solve this problem, what should be the result. Next is generating a problem solution, generate various solutions, analyze the solutions. There are many solutions which can be uh, made up by a man while solving a problem, so we should analyze each and every solution. Next is selecting the best solution, and next is bring your selected goals. Very first step, that is identify the problem. The very first step to problem solve is identify your problem. If we don't know about the problem, how we are going to solve it? So the questions you can ask, a number of questions from yourself is, what are you trying to do, what is your problem, what are the unknowns mean the things you don't know, what information do you obtain from the problem, what are the information you are getting from problem. For example, if I'm going through some depression, I'm getting something out of it also. Can you state the problem in your words? Can you describe your problem? Means to say this. For example, if you go to some psychiatrist, so can you just explain your problem in your words? Because there are some things also which you cannot explain them in the words. It's shown on the faces also. So there are many certain kinds of fields in science also, or we can say psychiatrist, psychological also. So yeah, firstly you should identify the problem. Next is explore the problem. In this we consider problem and analyze it in different ways. For example, we break it into small parts to find appropriate solution. Seems to be further meet the persons who have faced similar problems. Or we can say this: the persons who's gone through this also can be very helpful while exploring the problems. Next step is the set goals. After identification and exploration, we enter into third step. Basically, step where we set some goals. For example, sometimes you forget to think about what you want to achieve. In this step, firstly, we'll see the problem is required to be solved immediately. We'll set some goals. We'll start over it as soon as possible, and it is very important part of problem solving that setting the goals is the final achievement you wanted after the problem gets solved. For example, if we don't have the result, how we can start with the questions and reach it to the results. So setting goals is a very important part for this topic. Next is generating possible solutions. Now, if we are solving a math problem, there are multiple solutions to it. Now, after analyzing, first generating solutions, will analyze each and every answer, each and every procedure, and go through it. go through it, and next is the we'll select the best solution for it. For example, the better way to explain this is a Google Maps. As we know, if we want to go from destination A to destination B, we'll search it on maps, and the maps will show 2 or 3 ways most probably. So the shorter path we have to select on ourselves. So while searching it, we're analyzing the path which is shorter to our destination, and selecting the best solution will be the path we'll select it to go on it. So same is the case with problem solving, where we analyze the solution after generated possible solutions for my problem, and selecting the best solution, sorry, for solving my problem, that will become easier for me to reach into my solution. The next is bring your selected goals on the process. Obviously, if I've selected some path, now I'm going to go through that part. So bring your selected goals in the process. If you're going to work on your problems, it will eventually get solved at the end. So the steps I will revise again. These are the main steps, and the very important question for as if we see in the previous papers, this topic is very much important. We'll revise it for again. Identify the problem means identifying the problem. What is the problem? What you are thinking? Can you say the problem in your own words? Next is explore the problem. Exploring the problem means evaluate the problem. Next is set goals. Results you wanted after the problem gets solved. Generate possible solutions. Generate multiple ways so that your problem can be solved in various ways. Analyze each and every possible solution you have made in the for this problem. Next is selecting the best solution. The where you can see the pros and cons of each and every solution you have made. For example, if I have some money problem and I have decided to take loan from the bank, so there will be pros, there will be cons. Selecting the best solution for that particular problem will be the a part of this step. The last is bring your selected goals under process. The solution we have selected for a problem will come into consideration and to be executed as soon as possible so as to get a problem solved. So the main 4 topics for this chapter is what is problem solving, prerequisites of problem solving, next are the what are the approaches, the techniques for solving the problem, and next in the last we have is steps for problem solving. So that's it.